All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Sorry about that. Raphael James. And this morning I put up a post um, on Facebook that basically said, and we'll go back to it, secrets to success: do your job well and be willing to do more. Do your job well and be willing to do more. And for those of you who are joining me now, if you don't mind just dropping your name and where you're watching from in the comments, I'd appreciate it. After I posted that and started reading some of the comments, um, I realized that it's something probably we could have a broader conversation on. Um, there were some people who, let me just go to what they said, and I can show you. Let's see. Let's see if I can get to it real easily. I apologize that it's taken a minute here. All right. A lot of people agreed. Some most of the time. Um, Nikki says, know your limits. You and your wellness, well being is more important than any job. Great. And then Jesse says, well, that's been played out, Raphael. People don't even get recognized for doing good, hard, or extra work. I just go do my job, no more, no less, and go home. I've seen them praise lazy workers countless times. Um, so again, these are some of the comments, and go through. Gwen says, not all the time. There's several points one must keep in mind. I've known many that can't do their job well, but can lie well and push the blame on others for their failures. Brown nose snitch, throw under the bus, et cetera, et cetera. You can go back and you can take a look at those as well. Um, so I was a little it kind of struck me as strange that so many people felt the same way. Um, we are in a position now, and I noticed it just after the pandemic, things changed on us. The maybe quality of service, and honestly before then, but the quality of service that you were willing or expecting to get started to fall off. It started to drop off. It seems like society started to be okay with people doing the minimum effort, with people doing just enough to get by. And when that happened, when I started to see that happen, I started seeing the quality drop off just a little bit. And I think, if just a warning here, we've got to kind of watch what we've got going on, because if that's the case, just put a little common sense on it. How often are you going to pay your money to be disrespected? How often are you going to go somewhere to receive a service and be dissatisfied and continue to frequent that establishment or that service provider? At some point, the consumers, the customers, are going to say, no, I can either do without or find a different way to do it. So, for those who answered um, negatively to the post, um, that's what I want to talk about. Do your job well and be willing to do more. I didn't say do your job well and volunteer to do more. I didn't say do your job well and do just the willingness factor to go above and beyond, to do more than has been asked of you, is it goes a long way. um, and I think also we probably need to get to the root of success. What success is to me may not be success to someone else. And it also goes back to work ethic. So please feel free to join in the conversation. Elizabeth has joined in, and thanks for joining, Elizabeth. So tell everyone I know, especially young people, that no matter what you are doing, do it well and you will be noticed. And I agree with that. And that's the way I came up. That's the way um, things were instilled into me. My mother would tell me, no matter what the job is, you do it as if Everybody's watching, no matter who's watching. She would tell me, you do it as if you're doing it for God. If God himself was watching you do this, then you do it in a way that you would want him to be happy with it. And I've kind of lived by that. I've tried to live by that as much as possible. An older or former news director told me, you don't work for me, you work for yourself. And I was just getting started in the business, and that left an impression on me. I shouldn't come to work for you, for your validation. Of course, everybody wants to be greeted with a pat on the back and that a boy, you did great, way to go. And that's important. Feedback should be given, but you don't go to work and do a job or provide a service because you are dependent on hearing that from somebody else. First and foremost, I think, my opinion, you do a good job because it represents you. You do well and you show excellence because that's who you are. And the whole post, The Secrets of Success, somebody else said, I think Jason said, it's not really a secret, and it's not. But the bar has been set so low now that those simple things that I suggested as secrets to success just aren't done. If you do that, the bare minimum, sometimes you can stand heads and shoulders above someone else who just clocks in, does the bare minimum, and clocks out. Success, secrets to success. Um, Somebody else, we've had some pretty intense conversations offline and online, but that's what I'm seeing. And I just took down a few notes. Slack service just delivers long-term negative effects, not just for you, not just for the person you're working for, but for society as a whole. If we continue going down this rabbit hole of being slack and not doing the best that we can, I understand people are underpaid, overworked, and taken for granted, and that's not good. That is not good. But you do the best that you can do in that position so that you can get to something else. I'm not saying slave away and be mistreated and disrespected for your whole life. I'm saying whatever you have found your hands to do it well. What's the alternative? Not doing it well, barely showing up, barely doing the job at all. Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it just for pay? What about pride? Does anybody work for pride anymore? Just curious. Love to hear from you all. And you look around, you'll see that in different arenas, different areas, and it's really every industry. Um, Things are kind of bad in a lot of ways because you've got a small amount of people doing all the work. There were times when people were working from home and there was a great resignation. People weren't coming back to work. So that put a lot more pressure on those who remained. But in these times, there are also more opportunities. So if you were outstanding in your field and then all of these things happen, now you should be more in demand. Now there's an opportunity for you who understand the scope of what you're doing, the value in the job that you had. You know how to do it, you know how to get it done, and you know how to get it done efficiently and effectively. The world should be beating a path to your doorstep because there's so many other people who aren't doing it that way. We're talking about secrets to success. And again, those bosses that aren't valuing, I'm gonna go back to some of the comments, those bosses who aren't valuing their employees, they're doing so at a severe detriment to themselves. If you, Cami says, if you know the right people, just claim you went to Clemson or USC and they'll automatically believe that you're kind, smart, and important. Um, Yes, mental health is very important, and you do need to take advantage of those times when you can do that. But at this point, this crisis, this time in our country is kind of separating the strong from the weak. Uh, they say cream rises to the top, and that's what I think is happening here. During this time, this is the time where you audition for the position that you want. This is the time that you do the work to get the next job or create your own income. You see there's a need, you see where things are lacking. That's a green light for you to do it the way it should be done. So, yes, things aren't great in the work industry, even though there are lots of jobs out there available, lots more jobs being added. There aren't a whole lot of people necessarily taking these jobs, is what we're seeing. And I'm just trying to caution us, if you do have a job, whether you like it or not, if you want to find a level of success, I think this is the bare minimum, the first steps for anyone to be successful. I'll tell you a personal story in just a moment here. Let's go to some comments. This is Angie. Angie says, I made an extensive comment earlier. The service that I have provided over 24 years of nursing has always remained the same. Very good. While I'm at work, my patients and their well-being is my only thought. I'm just tired of being treated poorly. I'm tired of being short-staffed. I want to see my patients thrive, recover without worry about money, insurance issues. I don't want to cry during my shifts. My pride is what has helped me to be the best nurse that I can be. And my hat is off to you, Angie, for the service that you provide. It is very necessary, always has been. And especially during the height of COVID, things that many of my friends in the medical field had to go through, the sacrifices that were made. Again, I applaud you. Uh, Please continue to provide that service to the best of your ability. I know it's hard. I hear what you're saying, and it is hard, but this is also an opportunity. I just have to believe that you're going through this. And on a personal note, I've worked for uh, people who did not necessarily appreciate what I had to offer. I've worked for people who were horrible managers, and I'm not necessarily talking about here at the station, I'm just saying in general, people who were horrible managers. But I also learned from them as well. I learned from them how I did not want to be. I learned from them how not to do a thing, so that when or if I get the opportunity, or you get the opportunity, Angie, to do things a bit differently, you'll already know the direction to go in. So, yes, it sucks right now. It hurts right now. It's not optimal right now, but it's setting you up in the future. Um, Perhaps there's an opportunity there for you to not have to worry about working for a hospital. Maybe you start your own. Maybe you start your own uh, nursing agency, where you dictate the terms, where you have your workers and you tell the hospitals what you will accept and what you will not accept. And they walk according to what you and your colleagues follow out. Every negative situation, I firmly feel, is an opportunity for success, an opportunity for something better, an opportunity for growth. And I feel like this is one of those things. So uh, don't be discouraged. Keep doing what you're doing, and also stay alert for the opportunities to do more, to take things to the next level. Those who kind of push back on the comment initially, I just I have to ask you, what is your strategy? Again, I asked the question earlier. If you're working, why are you working? If you're working just for a paycheck, well, then you don't want success. You just want to be. get paid. If you're working to be rich, well, I mean, why? What is your why? Why are you working? Why are you putting in the hours? If you are you working to be liked? Are you working to get a pat on the back? Are you working because it's something that you love? It's best, I think, to work in a field that you enjoy working in. But if you're in a situation where you've got a job that you hate, but you have to do it right now because you've got to put food on the table, do it, but do it well. Do it with some pride, because at the end of the day, somebody's going to look around and say, "Who did this?" And you want to be able to say, "It was me. I did it, and I did it well." Even if that's pushing a broom across the floor, um, make sure that everybody who sees that floor says, "Most people don't aren't this thorough. Who did this? I did it." Whether you get any praise for it or not, that pride is what I think we all have to get back to. Pride of work well done. And it's sad, but those who are successful have that pride. And there's just so many other people who just don't care. It's just a job. It's not my job. My name's not on the banner. So I'm going to, they get what I give them. That's only going to last so long. And I would argue that's not a strategy for success. That's not a key to success. Althea says, let's see, a much needed conversation. Thank you, Althea. I appreciate you tuning in. Joy, hey Joy, it's my passion to help people. And Joy has her own nonprofit. I serve Joy, and she helps people all the time. So Rob says, what is the problem with the statement? Well, I think people are just in a position right now where they're kind of fed up with the way things are going, fed up for having to get up early, work hard for little pay and for little appreciation. And they're just not going to, they're not in a place where they want to be all in for that. So again, uh, just a little pep talk, just a little encouragement. I'll give you the words that my former news director gave to me. Don't come to work and work for me. Don't come to work and work for your boss. You come to work and work for yourself. You come to work and do a good job because that's what you come from. That's what you've been taught. That's what your ethics dictate that you do. That is what you wouldn't be able to accept any less than your best. Whether anybody appreciates it, says anybody or anything, at the end of the day, you walk home or you get home and you can put your head on the pillow and rest well because you've actually given everything you could. The problem that I'm seeing with the Slack service and the Slack effort that's being given is that it's not being a positive contribution to society. We are getting to the point where we're being shown less effort, we're accepting less effort, and more sadly than all of it, we're expecting less effort. Here's where it really hit home for me. I kind of stopped having expectations for fast food. When I was working late nights, when I got my dinner break, there were only a few restaurants or a few places to go to get food. And, the service wasn't great. The people there sometimes didn't want to be there. Sometimes your order would be wrong. And it got to the point where I'm like, yeah, forget this. I am not going to put myself through that. I'm not going to pay my hard-earned money on something that nobody really cares about. But there was another place that I didn't have that problem. Every time I showed up, they were pleasant. Every time I showed up, they made every effort to get my order right. They made every effort to make sure that I would come back and benefit that establishment. Who do I spend my money with? I spent my money with them because of that. Now, in terms of being strategic about our work, you're saying, how am I going to succeed if the people who I work with don't see it? They don't pay attention to it. They overlook me. Again, you're not doing it for them. You give them what you have to offer. And if they don't appreciate it, you don't have to stay there. But that's what you've chosen to do for now. That's what you need to do for now. You do it as long as you can so that you can move on to another place. And somebody else will see your effort. Somebody else will speak your praises. It won't be for naught. It won't go in vain. Doing the right thing in that situation is going to pay off for you, even if it's just that you have a certain level of confidence and respect for yourself. That plays out, that projects out to others. So don't be weary in well doing. We go back to some more conversations. Monica, good conversation. I totally agree. Personal responsibility and accountability. Awesome. Thank you, Monica. Um, Ashley says, I'm in my field because I absolutely love the way it makes me feel. I'm a realtor, so I get to help people find their homes. My joy comes when I see babies light up and start running to the rooms, screaming, this one's mine. Seeing mama looking at the kitchen or raving about how pretty her furniture is and gonna look over there. Dad is checking out the garage, thinking about how he can help the next day. It just brings joy to my soul. And that's awesome. As you typed that out and as I read it, I felt that. And I can feel the happiness that you have with doing that. And I think that's what we long for. Those who don't have that kind of passion about their jobs won't understand. Those who don't feel they're offering anything to society that's worth anything, you don't understand. Your job is just a grind. Why are you doing that? Is there something about your job that is helpful to others? Like Ashley said, is there something about what you're doing that brings value to the people you're doing it for? Air conditioner repairmen, as hot as it is right now, have to crawl up into these attics and work tirelessly, coming out frequently to take water breaks. It's hard work. But you know what? When they're done and they go and hit that button and the house starts to get cool, that's a major payoff. That's a service that they're providing. Where is the service that you're providing? If you can identify a service that you're providing, a way that you're making other people's lives better, I gotta believe that a sense of pride comes along with that. Ashley, thank you very much for sharing that and for your passion with which you view real estate. And I've been there. I've been that dad that's saying, yeah, put my tools over there and I watch my daughter run up to the room and say, yeah, this is going to be my room. That's a great feeling. And you know what it is, though? It goes back to what I said earlier. It's problem solving. These people need a place to stay. You are helping them solve their problems. What problems do you see on your job that you can help someone solve, whether they're appreciative of it or not? What can you do to help? How can you do your job well and be willing to do more? All right, let's see. These are good. All right, Justin, let's see what you got, Justin. Justin, you have one side that will say work more than your hours always. Then you have another side that says only work with your schedule. They're both wrong. You don't have to live and die for your job. But in order to move up, you have to show a little more effort. That doesn't mean killing yourself weekly, but why not show up early twice a week? Good suggestion. Why not offer to help out once a month? It's not die hard on one side or the other. Find the middle where you exceed during business hours and pitch in. I think it says extra. I can't see the more on here. But Justin, yeah, thank you. That's a great point. Again, the post was, let me go back to it real quick. Secrets to success. Do your job well and be willing to do more. think people kind of glazed over that willing part. Do your job well and be willing to do even more when you can. Now, you're not going to um, be any good to anybody if you work yourself to death. If you are always, working double, triple overtime, trying to pad your paycheck, you don't have a quality of life. It's great advice from Justin. Do what you can within reason. But even if you don't volunteer for extra time, even if you don't volunteer to um, try to get all the hours, do what you do well with a smile. At least show them that you want to be there and you want to do the work well. I don't think that's nothing. I think that's actually a lot. Uh, let's see, did I read this from Linda? No. Linda, I'm in the medical field over 25 years now. Thank you so much for that. We need our medical workers. My grandfather and father passed on a strong work ethic. I can still count on my fingers the few days I had to call into a job. When at work, I leave my home life at home because the patients in my care are priority. I don't want to miss something important because of distraction. If anyone in my family calls me at work, then something is likely wrong. We've lost the fact that whatever job we took at whatever pay rate we took, we made a decision. I'll read that later. It only shows me a certain amount on here. And Linda, thank you. Thank you for that point, and thank you for your work in the medical field. All right, so I don't see many more comments. I'll go back through, but to bring this to a close, nobody forced you into a job. You chose the job because that's what you wanted to do. That's all you could find. That's the only person that would hire you. For whatever reason, you're in the job now. Now that you've got the job, do the job well and be willing to do more. There are other secrets to success, but if you do these, it's kind of going to be kind of hard to go wrong.
Well, hey, I didn't say it was
the job you have, do it well, do it with joy, do it because you want to do it well. And if you don't like it, do it with a good attitude and get out of there. Find something else that you want to do. Look around, see the misery, see the people who are doing it wrong, see the ways that it can be done better. And if you're a specialist, can you find a way to do what you do that affects even more people, that's more efficient? And then do that. Do that. All right, guys. Let's see. Get Wayne. Wayne says, dedication and loyalty will win success. God will see you through the rest. I agree with that, Wayne. Thanks. It's good to hear from you again. Ashley says she's willing to go above and beyond in my job because of my grandmother. She taught me that no matter what you're doing, whether it's cutting grass, serving food, selling something, or helping someone, always do it like you're doing it for Jesus. If you approach it with that mindset, then you're able to keep that smile on your face and help everyone equally. Very good. Sometimes work is work. They say do what work, get a job that you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Sometimes work is work. Sometimes work can be hard. Sometimes it's not all rosy. But if you're there and you're trying to do the best that you can do and help others around you to do that as well. I know it's difficult when you have others around you who don't share the same work ethic, who don't share the same mentality, but that doesn't have anything to do with you. You've got to do what you do because of your own pride, because of your own willingness or unwillingness to offer less than the best. You're not getting back at the boss when you offer slack service. You're hurting yourself long term because you're setting yourself up with the mindset that they don't deserve the best of me. And if that's the case, well, why are you showing up? All right, I'm done, guys. Sharon says, I believe when you're called in the field of work, you are more successful and effective doing that job. I firmly believe it brings success. I just retired from teaching. God bless you. Yeah. I hope you enjoy your retirement. We definitely need teachers. And that is another field where there is a shortage right now. We need good people teaching our kids. Conversely, if you really do hate your job, and especially if you're in a service oriented arena, if you are a nurse and you hate it, you hate the patients, you hate cleaning up after them, you're not doing anybody any favors by staying there. Find something else. Find something you love. You don't belong in that field. If you are a teacher and you don't like kids, leave. Do something else, please. Find something that you enjoy. Find something that you like, because you are hurting the morale of others around you. You're hurting the young people. You're not being helpful, and you're not being honest to yourself or to those who are around you. So, with that being said, I bid you all adieu. And if you're at work now, give it the best you got. Not for anybody else, not for an attaboy, not for a raise, just because that's who you are. You're good people, and you want to do the job you're doing to the best of your ability. All right, guys, take care. Love you. Talk to you later.